In the realm of literary greatness, Edgar Allan Poe's name stands as a towering figure, especially when discussing the genre that delves into the human psyche's mysterious recesses. The Telltale Heart and Other Writings is not merely a collection of stories, but an anthology that orchestrates a symphony of psychological horror and introspection. Today, we explore this symphony, piece by piece, as we parse through Poe's ingenious storytelling, which remains as haunting as ever, echoing the complex interplay of guilt, paranoia, and the macabre in the human mind. Our journey commences with The Telltale Heart, narrated by a character whose name we never learn, whose sanity is vehemently defended even as he confesses to a cold-blooded murder. Living with an elderly man, the narrator develops an irrationally intense aversion to the man's cloudy, vulture-like eye. This obsession propels him into the depths of premeditated murder. With chilling precision, the narrator recounts his methodical preparations, his nightly vigils by the old man's bedside, and the final act on the 8th night, when the old man's terrified heartbeat, racing under the watchful gaze of the narrator, seals his fate. What follows is a tale of calculated dismemberment and concealment, as the narrator assures himself of his cleverness by hiding the body under the floorboards. However, Poe masterfully builds suspense as the arrival of 3 police officers puts the narrator's composure to the test. Poe captures the increasing tension as the narrator hears the incessant beating of the old man's heart, which grows louder and more maddening until it drives him to a state of frenzy, culminating in his own self-betrayal as he confesses to the officers in a fit of guilt-ridden hysteria. The Black Cat introduces us to another narrator, ensnared by alcohol and inexplicable urges to violence. He details his bond with his pet cat Pluto and the subsequent deterioration of their relationship as he descends into alcoholism, leading to acts of unfathomable cruelty. When the narrator inflicts a heinous act of violence on the cat, he is consumed by remorse, yet this remorse is short-lived. Another cat appears, bearing a haunting resemblance to Pluto, and the narrator is again overcome by a combination of revulsion and dread. This cat, marked by a patch of white fur that seems to take the shape of a gallows, is a constant reminder of the narrator's past atrocities. The story escalates to a grisly climax when the narrator's wife falls victim to his wrath as he tries to eradicate the cat's accusing presence. His efforts to conceal his crime by entombing his wife in a wall seem successful until, much like the Telltale Heart, his own guilt becomes his undoing. The second cat's presence in the hidden tomb leads to a cataclysmic revelation as the police discover the grisly scene. In The Fall of the House of Usher, the eponymous house looms as a decaying symbol of the family it houses. The narrator, summoned by a letter from his friend Roderick Usher, arrives to find a household in decline. Roderick and his sister, Madeline, are both afflicted by mysterious ailments, with Madeline suffering from a death-like trance that eventually leads to her premature burial. The narrator becomes a spectator to the unraveling of Roderick, whose fears and deteriorating mental state mirror the decomposition of the ancestral home. When Madeline emerges from her tomb, alive, her confrontation with Roderick results in their mutual demise and the literal collapse of the Usher family lineage, with the mansion sinking into the dark waters of the surrounding tarn, symbolizing the inextricable link between the family's fate and their environment. Other narratives included in this compendium, such as The Mask of the Red Death, show Poe's grim reflection on the inevitability of death and the futility of trying to escape it. In the tale, Prince Prospero's fortress becomes a lavish tomb as a spectral figure, representing the unbidden plague, claims the revelers one by one. The Cask of Amontillado offers a chilling account of revenge, where the narrator, Montrezor, lures his victim, Fortunato, into the catacombs under the pretense of sampling wine, only to entomb him alive in the crypt's cold recesses. Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart and Other Writings serves as an extraordinary psychological landscape where each tale intricately weaves the facets of the human mind with the supernatural and the morose. His characters often find themselves trapped within the consequences of their actions, unable to escape the ever-tightening grip of their guilt and paranoia. In The Telltale Heart, the throbbing echo of the concealed heart represents the inescapable nature of conscience and the ultimate futility in trying to silence it. The Black Cat continues this introspective theme by manifesting the narrator's guilt in a physical form that pursues him relentlessly. The spectral second cat acts as a living reminder of the narrator's past deeds, a symbol of the undying nature of conscience and the doom that awaits those who attempt to defy it. Poe's works constantly nudge the boundaries between the real and the imagined, often leaving readers to ponder where one ends and the other begins. The Fall of the House of Usher demonstrates this blur, with the crumbling mansion reflecting the Usher family's genetic and psychological decay, creating an atmosphere where the environment is as sentient and as fragile as its inhabitants. These stories and others in the collection establish Poe as a chronicler of the shadowy recesses of the soul, adept at illuminating the struggle between human impulse and morality, and laying bare the oft-ignored truth that we are capable of both great tenderness and terrifying destruction. In conclusion, The Telltale Heart and Other Writings by Edgar Allan Poe is not just a cornerstone of Gothic literature, but also a masterclass in the exploration of the human condition through the lens of the uncanny. As much about the darkness without as the darkness within, Poe's stories invite us to confront the specters of our own making, the echoes of our actions, and the timeless question of what it means to be both the creator and the creation of our deepest fears. For those who appreciate the intricacies of a tale well told, the nuanced dance between the conscious and the unconscious, and the poetic justice that binds them, this anthology is a journey worth undertaking. If you have enjoyed this foray into the works of Edgar Allan Poe, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Here, we continue to unlock the treasures within the world's most enduring literature. Thank you for your attention, and may your adventures in reading be as rich and as profound as the tales spun by the master of the macabre himself.